When we think about quarterbacks in the 2024 NFL draft, we immediately think of Caleb Williams and Drake Maye, who are easily going to be the first two quarterbacks taken. And it's kind of only a matter of who's going to take them at this point. What I find a little bit more fascinating is who's going to be that third quarterback? Who's going to be the guy that goes after Caleb Williams and Drake Maye? And I think there's some interesting possibilities. And I think the names you kind of hear the most are Colorado's Sharrod Sanders, Oregon's Bo Nix, and Texas's Quinn Ewers. And for the case of Sharrod Sanders and Quinn Ewers, they are both draft eligible, but they are not seniors, so they could always go back. But I think those are kind of the three popular names of who could go with that third quarterback taken. If I had to make a bet right now, it's not even Halloween yet. But if I had to get a place a bet down, I would go with Sharrod Sanders. He's the guy past Caleb Williams, past Drake Maye. Sharrod Sanders, I think, is the best quarterback draft-wise. Here's a guy, I wish he had a little bit stronger of an arm. I wish he drove the ball down the field a little bit better. Tends to put too much air under the ball. But what I love about him is his ability to make plays. And Colorado doesn't have a good offensive line. They've got some weapons. And his ability to make plays, to stay in that pocket, deliver accurately in that short to intermediate. And then most importantly, he's just got that clutch gene. Like I said, Colorado's had their issues. They're not a good team. They've got some talent and they've got some nice wins this year. But Sharrod Sanders has allowed them, and he's played like Caleb Williams at times, the ability to lead those game-winning drives, to come up and make plays in the clutch. And that's what I want out of my NFL quarterbacks. He's got the talent. He's got that clutch. I think if he had a bigger arm, too often those deep balls that are down the field, he just kind of puts a little too much air under them, and accuracy drops. And I think if he had a little bit stronger of an arm, like a Caleb Williams, like a Drake Maye, I'd put him right up in that discussion with those two. I think Quinn Ewers is a wild card here. I think he's got a lot of talent. He's got a big arm. He can make the proverbial, he can make all the throws. However, he just oftentimes just leaves a little too much to be desired. To me, he's kind of a boom or bust type of guy. I could definitely see him hitting and becoming a top 10 NFL quarterback, or I could see him getting to the NFL and he just kind of busts out, sticks around for a little bit, becomes a backup, and then next thing you know, he's playing the USFL or XFL. I mean, we see that in his games. There's times where he's just amazing, and he's leading Texas in a easy win. I shouldn't say easy, but a win over Alabama, at Alabama, and then against Oklahoma, and kind of has a dud of a game, and they lose. And so you want just a little bit more consistency. And getting to that third guy, Bo Nix. Bo Nix has got a lot of talent. He's helped Oregon get to be a top 10 ranked team. I still think they're a team that we still have to look out for, and I could see them running the table and still making it to the college football playoff. But to me, Bo Nix is kind of a middle-of-the-road guy when it comes to the NFL. I think he could be an NFL starter. I don't think he's a day-one guy. I think he's gonna have to earn and develop into that starting. But his ceiling, I think, is just limited. I mean, when you think of Drake Maye and Sharrod Sanders and Caleb Williams and even Quinn Ewers, they've got that talent level. And to me, I think Bo Nix has just kind of got a little bit lower of a ceiling, and that's what kind of gives me a little bit more pause when it comes to him. One name I haven't mentioned, and like I said, those are the three guys that kind of a lot of people are talking about of who could be that third quarterback in this draft. I'm going to give you another name that I don't think gets as much attention. This is going to be like, oh my gosh, you said him. But we need to kind of put some respect onto J.J. McCarthy's name. I know people have put him in the first round mock drafts this summer and even so far this year. Michigan really hasn't played anybody tough. I think Nebraska's defense is the toughest defense that they've played, and they kind of just cut through them like a knife in hot butter. But he's got talent, and I don't think because of their offense, he doesn't get a chance to show it. I mean, Michigan is a 12 personnel, 22 personnel type team. They've got Blake Corum, they've got Donovan Edwards. They want to run the ball. And they're going to run, and they got a stud offensive line that might have 5 guys drafted in the NFL draft. And I think because of that, you don't get to see it. But when he does get to turn it loose, there's times against that Nebraska game, there's other games too, where he was able to just make a play. I mean, you go watch the Nebraska game, and he's just pinpoint dotting guys open. Nebraska guy has I remember an in-breaking route. Nebraska guy was the receiver was flanking, just completely covered the receiver, put it in just the perfect spot. There's that highlight reel throw where he's going to his left, and just a perfect dime to Wilson in the back of the end zone. So because he's not dropping back and throwing it 40 times a game, 50 times a game, he doesn't have these huge numbers. He doesn't get the highlights reels that we get out of Caleb Williams. And plus, that doesn't help that they haven't played anyone good. Now, that's going to change with Penn State and then eventually Ohio State. But I think he's a guy that's a lot better NFL prospect than people are kind of giving him credit for. Michael Penix is another guy that I think we could talk about. My analysis, my evaluation of him is not done, but from what I've seen, amazing college football quarterback. I just want more out of him as an NFL quarterback. I think he's just not quite where I want it. He doesn't have that live arm that I'd like. There's just a lot of little things that make me I think he's more Bo Nix than he is Sharrod Sanders. And so this isn't my official top 10 rankings, whatever, top 5 rankings. But if I was just ranking the guys that I have just mentioned, obviously Caleb Williams is number 1. Then we've got Drake Maye, number 2. I would put Sharrod Sanders right now as number 3. J.J. McCarthy, number 4. And then I'd put Quinn Yates number 5 with Bo Nix 6, Penix 7. So out of those 7 guys, that's where I see them fitting into this these quarterback rankings here on October 17th. But there's still a lot of football left to be played. And I think it'll be fascinating. I think this is one of the, obviously with Caleb Williams and Drake Maye, this is one of the better quarterback classes we've had in years. But I think when you add a Sharrod Sanders, who once again could go back, it wouldn't shock me for him to say, hey, let's go year 2 at Colorado. We're going to get a lot more better players. Let's go try to win the Pac-12, or Big 12, I should say. I definitely could see that, but like I said, that's kind of how I'm stacking it up at this point.